So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Venus in the sixth house as your Atmakaraka, as in what happens when Venus holds the highest degree in your birth chart known as Atmakaraka. Okay, and if you don't know if your Venus is the Atmakaraka or which planet is the Atmakaraka, you can go to Astrology.com where you'll find my books, reports, consultation, especially my new reading, which is the Moon Nectar reading. Because Moon is everything. If you really look at it in Jyotish, ninth house and Moon, two are the most important significators of what is happening in your life. Why? Because Moon is the womb, which holds everything that is going to be birthing in your life. So I don't think I've ever done this. Now I do it, especially from several divisional chart, especially Sastyamsha as well, the D60. So now, Venus in the sixth house in as a Atmakaraka. So Atmakaraka is a planet that is here to learn something and burn something and to gain something. That is the Atmakaraka. It is especially like the lessons of the soul, what the soul is here to understand and learn. And one of the biggest lessons, whether it's a male chart or a female chart, you're going to deal with lessons related to women themselves. Here, what happens is with Venus, certain past life inclination will come back, meaning certain past life situation exactly come back the way they were. And especially if you do the same thing, then of course, Venus punishes here. See, Venus, even in the sixth house, does extremely well in terms of money, like anything related to health, loans, and debts. It'll give you money through that. Simple as that. Okay, when you go towards these things, it gives you money. And especially, it's very important when Venus is the Atmakaraka that you try to make money from where Venus is placed. Which house Venus is placed in. Naturally, you should always go towards where Venus is placed. And here it's even more important. But the thing is, with Venus in the sixth house, there would be many situations where certain issues related to women can arise. Blames from women will arise if you don't watch out, meaning you're too arrogant, you're too young, you do something, you say something, and then you're getting blamed. You know, sometimes it can be even false blames that can come in with this particular Venus. But especially the reason why it's happening is because this Venus will give you situations where you could be very aggressive to women, to wife, to sisters, to your daughters. One can act from cruelty and then learn their lesson. Okay. Mistreatment of women here has to be really watched for, because especially it's the sixth house, okay, of debt. There's some debt related to women, and especially when Venus is in the sixth house of the Atmakaraka, in a man's chart, one must, as whatever the spouse needs, you must give. However the spouse wants to spend the money, they have to spend the money. You let your spouse handle the money. Because especially you will see with Venus in the sixth house, if your wife is not handling the money, then it's going to cause disputes. And especially you should always spend money on the spouse. Actually give the money to spend money. More than what they asked for. And Venus as the Atmakaraka in the sixth house will also show one will have to take responsibility of father's work. You will have time to time, regardless of even if it's a job. Like, for example, if your father tells you, listen, I have a contract to deal with in this particular state, but I'm busy. Can you go and pick up this particular file and form, and I'll tell the person that you're my son and you're coming and you're picking up this file. And it cannot be mailed. You have to pick it up in person, because they will require certain signatures. And since you're my son or you're my daughter, you can do those signatures. You will have these type of things come up. Venus in the 6th house in Atmakaraka is extremely lucky for an individual in terms of their career. Okay, but the career, and this is the sensitive point, if you, let's say, mistreat your wife, spouse in general, for both men and women, mistreatment of the spouse naturally will cause disharmony in your workspace. Work can give you great money if the spouse is happy. Now you can say, well, my spouse is not happy, but I'm not doing anything. That's a different thing. Maybe your spouse are dealing with their own issue and they're depressed, but in those cases, make sure you make the spouse feel good and not just like leave them, okay, well, it's not my fault. They have some chronic depression issue. Okay, well, they're going through their cycle again. I'm just going to go and play pool or play golf with my friends. No, do something. Get them a massage a session. Get them a face, I forgot. Not face massage. It's esthetician work. Okay. But whatever that thing is that women do. But get them that. Okay, so it is your responsibility with this particular Venus. And also with Venus in the 6th house, part of the soul's journey and soul's duty is to help poor girls, young girls between the ages of 18 to 13, 14, 15, providing for their education, their clothing, their hygiene. You must do these particular things as the Atmakaraka. Okay. Because this is the king of your chart. And it's asking for something. So if you're, let's say, 32, barely making money, doing some, even in softwares and IT, you're barely surviving, and you got this particular Venus, and you should look back. What have you done? Have you done anything with the things that I said? Was there any kind of a rudeness that occurred? And if, let's say, if it's in the past, it's in the past, bygones be bygones. But if I mistreated my ex-girlfriend really bad, now that I realize it was really, 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 really bad. And yet you have not done this remedy of helping out the women, the young women who need something in their life. You need to get on that immediately. Okay, it's not like you have to go searching for your ex and then give them money or give them something. No, that thing is over. But now you can remedy that part with this particular activity, especially with Venus in the 6th house. As the Atmakaraka, you will see many a times a person has to help people in their financial needs. People will actually come to you, ask you for a favor, ask you for, some form of a contribution in their hard times, and you're going to have to do that. And usually you will see either it's going to be with friends, social circles, or elder sibling. And especially they will be the one, who are going to deal with a certain situation where you have to come in as a mediator and helping out in that situation, helping them cross through. And especially both for men and women with Venus in the 6th house, extraordinary promiscuity is not good at all. Now, I'm not some moral police or morality monitor. I don't care. You can go sleep with 100 people. Okay, but the thing with this particular Venus as the Atmakaraka, you have to learn. It is here to teach you a particular lesson related to commitment, related to patience, related to being picky about the right person. Not even picky or choosy, waiting for the right person. Because here Venus can become very impulsive in jumping into relationship and romantic affairs, through which then sometimes a person can deal with things like STDs. It's not like everybody's going to deal with it. If you have that awareness, let's say you have Jupiter looking at your Venus, Jupiter is going to give you guidance. Like, for example, you take a consultation from me, and then I say something and I tell you something, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll do this. So Jupiter kind of helped you towards taking certain guidance, taking some remedy to remedy that particular position of Venus. Okay, but like I said, you might be thinking that Venus in the sixth house is really bad for money and wealth. No, it depends on where you're trying to make wealth and money. And because it's the soul significator, it is time to time you will see it'll guide you. It'll always try to steer you towards a particular type of profession, even though you don't want it. Or especially you will also notice that the girlfriend's wife, spouse in your chart, sister, females in your chart will also somehow guide you towards that similar thing that the universe will naturally guiding you towards. So you will have, with Venus in the sixth, quite a few chances to go towards the right direction. But if you miss it after a certain age, then that opportunity will be missed. For example, if Venus is in the sixth house, like 32nd year, up to 32nd year, you will get many opportunities. But if you keep rejecting, no, I want to do this. I want to be an actor. I want to be a single. While your friends and everybody's saying, look, I have this company. You can become a partner and we can make a lot of money. It's about helping people with debt, this and that. Or like, for example, you got your degree in health. You want to become an actress or actor. But the pharmaceutical company is like, we need somebody right now here in this department. And we're offering you $350,000. Oh no, I'm passionate about this. I'm not saying that sixth house Venus is not going to take you towards media, but I'm just saying certain opportunities by the universe will always direct you towards something that, hey, here's a chance. Here's a chance. Here's a chance. And once you keep rejecting that, well, then you're on your own. Then hopefully a divine help comes into play with you. And then Venus also in the sixth house as the Atmakaraka will provide much needed gains to the in-laws. Like you will see the family that you get married into suddenly starts getting money and gains in their life. Now, of course, the depth of this particular Venus will be seen once we know the sign, we know the nakshatra, and especially when we know the padha, what nakshatra padha it's in, you can fine tune that particular aspect. The other thing you will also see that yes, wife will always make, kind of like how women will go to the mall and shop. Okay. Wife will regularly be going to either doctor's office, yoga, gym, therapy, okay, massage therapy. So, and I'm giving you the prediction and the remedy at the same time in this particular sentence. When your wife goes to the gym, goes to yoga classes regularly, at minimum till the age of 48, their health is going to be fine. Now you must be thinking, well, of course, going to the yoga studio will be fine. No, some people shouldn't do yoga. There's actually combinations where combination and placement that a person should not do yoga, should not go to the gym, should not do any exercise or play sport. But especially in the man's chart here, one thing we see that the wife should start going to those places. So instead of going to those places, or instead of going to the doctor's office constantly, she's going to place like a gym or a yoga Pilates or whatever it is. But now, and also it's not like something that they're like, oh no, I'll do it at home. No, you have to go to an actual facility. The spouse has to go to an actual facility that is legally representing that thing. Like, for example, you go to a yoga studio, that yoga studio maybe, Lotus something Inc., Lotus something PVT Ltd., whatever it is in India. It's a business. It has a legalized cocoon of that space of the sixth house. So by going there is where the remedy starts, not like by just doing at home. Doing at home, I don't know if that works or not. Okay, one thing I just know that how this remedy works. And I don't have time enough to do research, and neither there are many people with Venus in the sixth house coming to me to get a reading. Actually, it's funny. I don't think I've had any Venus in the sixth house even this year. So that is a rare thing. But anyhow, this was my analysis of Venus in the sixth house as your Atmakaraka. And again, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. So you want to know everything about your chart, consultation, reports, and my courses, check out the links here. And here I will also be putting some video on my BNN course as well regarding planets third from another planet. Thank you.